If you're wondering whether you can pour self-leveling concrete over your existing slab, you're in the right place. Because in this video, I'm gonna break down where it works, where it doesn't, and how you can avoid the mistake that most people don't even realize they're making until after it flakes, cracks, or fails altogether. Now, there's a spot on my garage floor that looks fine, but it feels off. Like every single time I walk over it, it feels like a miniature gravitational pull. Ow. I kept thinking to myself, I'm gonna fix it one of these days with one of those self-leveling concrete kits. An easy win, or so I thought. But it wasn't until just before I hopped in that car for a Home Depot run that I asked Danielle over at A1 if that's actually what I should do. Her answer made me pump the brakes. It turns out self-leveling concrete isn't your one-size-fixes-all solution like we want it to be. It's more like pancake batter. It spreads fast, sets fast, and works great if you use it where it's meant to be used, though it probably doesn't taste good with or without syrup. I'm not telling you to eat self-leveling concrete, don't do that. To better understand where it's meant to be used, let's first look at when to avoid self-leveling concrete altogether. If the slab is settled or dropped, if you are working outdoors, if you need a thick pour, and if you have a large surface area or vertical surfaces, those are all reasons to avoid it. Danielle got me up to speed quicker than concrete cures, teaching me the most common places people misuse self-leveling concrete, which could be you. But if they're common, I started to wonder, why do people like me continue to think of them as the first or best solution? Well, outdoor slabs absorb moisture, and as a result, they're constantly expanding and contracting. That natural movement means self-leveling concrete has a higher chance of cracking off. Things like thick pours and sinking or uneven concrete can yield similar results. Self-leveling concrete is usually workable for around 20 minutes, which can make larger surfaces trickier to manage. Now, many or most of those scenarios directly lead to cracking, peeling, or again, complete failure of that compound. If those are all the reasons to avoid self-leveling concrete, where does it work? Where does it make sense? Well, we can flip that avoid list around and basically get a checklist for when self-leveling is a good fit. Pours should generally stay under 1/4 inch, and the concrete underneath it should be rock solid. I'm talking no movement, no cracks, no holes where that compound can leak out. In other words, it works really well on shallow dips or surface imperfections, especially indoors. Remember that, where you want a smooth finish for something like some new flooring. Now let's say despite Danielle's best efforts, I still shifted from park to drive, and I went and picked up that self-leveling compound anyways. When I get back home, I'm faced with another question. What do I do now? Well, first things first, she said, the slab must be prepped. That means cleaning the slab thoroughly, applying the right primer, and sealing off any places where it could escape, which will no doubt turn this project into every other DIY project of mine where I have to make multiple trips to Home Depot. So if you or I skip any of those steps, that nice smooth layer that we really want to keep can start to crack or peel almost immediately. What if you never realized that your slab is actually sinking, even slightly? Will self-leveling solve the real issue? What is the real issue? A thin pour can turn into a thick patch that is not gonna bond to the existing concrete. And that quick fix, again, may quickly crumble, literally. That's because self-leveling concrete doesn't actually level anything that's sunk, it just covers the surface, which is a common misconception by its name alone. If the concrete underneath is still shifting, well, you're gonna be right back at square one whether you use it or not. So what do you do if your concrete is actually uneven? Well, concrete leveling lifts the slab from underneath. It doesn't change the surface texture, but it does get the slab back where it belongs, all without replacing it. You'll often see this done outside on driveways and sidewalks, but it is very effective inside, like in sunken basements or garage floors. Now, I made a video answering how else you can fix uneven concrete, and you can check that out by subscribing to the channel. A quick summary of some of those alternatives, though, are grinding, resurfacing, patching compounds, or tear out and replacement. And outside of that last option, most of those methods don't really hold up well long term, especially outside. Back to the spot that bugged me. I didn't pour anything. I actually didn't do anything at all, and I'm glad. Because the advice I got from Danielle, who's working at a place that's been doing stuff like this for over 30 years, is worth way more than any of my DIY impulse decisions. So no, I didn't do anything to the concrete itself, but I did get an expert opinion after doing some research of my own. That's where you're at right now. And that opinion I got was that in my particular case, there was nothing structurally wrong, and unless I really wanted to do something about it so it didn't bug me, I could. But if I didn't want to do anything, my family and I would be okay. You can request a free estimate from A1 right now, or do a little more research to find some pros in your area. What matters most here is that you make the best decision for you and your concrete needs. And the difference between making a quick fix and the right fix could be just one video away. Don't forget to drop a like, a comment, and subscribe to the Concrete channel, and I'll see you around. Thanks for watching.